to the Dawgs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
Hey, what's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Josh All, Justin Charles with you guys tonight. No Blake Reneker, couldn't make it. He has what he described himself to be World War III occurring in the Reneker household, so we're hoping everybody is safe over there. You never know what's going to happen with kids, man.
You don't even know what that means.
No, you don't know what that means, but I mean, I got kids too, you got kids. I think we have a pretty good idea.
Yes,
pretty
I have
good
an idea what the scene is.
Yeah, so we'll hold down the fort for you guys on this episode for the week, and we got some, Browns news and things to dive into. We're going to talk about some not so fun things and then some interesting things, and it's going to be all over the place tonight, but that's what we're here for. I don't want to give away too much. You guys just got to stay tuned for the whole thing. But yes. One thing that is cool, if you guys are on Facebook, make sure you, first of all, follow us on Facebook, because I got into a lengthy conversation today on one of our posts with Harold Fannin Jr.'s aunt.
Love it. Love it, man.
I saw the name there commenting, and it was, I forget her first name. Sorry. That's my fault for not writing it down. But the last name was Fannin. And so I went to her profile and it says something about her nephew. She was posting about her nephew. I said, hey, are you Harold Fannin's aunt? She said, I sure am. So we talked about him for a while. Pretty interesting dude. I mean, I didn't realize, I knew that he played defensive back in high school, but he also, like on offense, he played wide receiver, because he's only played tight end for 3 years, and all three of those were at Bowling Green.
Right.
So she also said, though, he played special teams.
I saw it. Did you say he was the kicker?
He was the kicker for McKinley.
Crazy. It's good. I mean,
that's what I said. I said, we might be looking for a kicker this year.
Oh shit! when we thought we were getting the 2-for-1 on Travis Hunter special, we were so wrong. We were so wrong.
No, we're getting tight end kicker Harold Fannin Jr.
Nice.
Joking aside, though, I am super pumped for Harold Fannin.
Excited,
I think he's going to be a lot of fun to watch in Cleveland for sure. All right, before we dive into everything else, make sure you guys like this video on YouTube, tap the notification bell, and subscribe. I went out of order. Subscribe, tap the noti bell, because we got more stuff coming all the time, new content. You don't want to miss it. If you're on audio, make sure you follow the show. Give us a 5-star review. Those really do help us out. And head over to jointhedawgs.com to become an official Dog Pack member if you guys want to get into our Patreon and connect to the private Discord and have, the 24/7 conversations with us. There's stuff going on in there all the time. And you get access to sign up for the fantasy football leagues that we do in the Dog Pack. Justin's got his Dog Pack League champion shirt on, because what was that? Last year you won.
2023, dog.
2023, yeah. Not in 2024. That was me and Blake. That was me and Blake.
Hold the throne down, dog.
I know it might seem a little early to be talking about fantasy football, but we are actually going to open up signups a little earlier this season, because last year, there's a big demand for the fantasy leagues. People want to get in there. So we're going to start signups on June 1st this year. So it is already May 6th, May 7th when you guys are watching this. Make sure you get into jointhedawgs.com, reserve your spot in one of our fantasy leagues, and just hang out with us all summer. Training camp and the preseason is going to be so much fun. And then we got the fantasy drafts at the end of August. It's a good time. Get in there, meet everybody, know who you're going to be playing fantasy football with. It just makes the leagues more competitive and more fun.
Absolutely. Can't wait.
So what is not so much fun is I guess it's kind of becoming like an annual tradition. Browns off-season news and notes must always include or incorporate at least one player arrest. And we got to talk about linebacker Devin Bush getting arrested. It was in near Pittsburgh? Was it near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania?
Yeah, north of Pittsburgh.
Okay. And that was on, I believe, Sunday night. News came out Monday morning about that. And he got hit with, simple assault and...
Yep. Harassment. That's what it was. Yeah. So Justin's got actually more details that I have not yet seen.
So he'll read those now.
Yep. I found this on triblive.com, but this is basically through police reports from Akron Beacon Journal. Complaint: the woman who called police claims Bush tried to grab a cell phone from her and was pushing her against a massage table in the process, trying to get it free. Officers claim Bush admitted to smashing the cell phone, but denied getting physical with her in the process. She ended up with an abrasion on her wrist and an abrasion on her toe. And yep, I mean, that's where we're at with it.
So, Devin Bush is an NFL player. Even if he was not overly physical by his or by, a normal person's standards. I mean, he's still 6'2", 6'3", 200 and some, 25, 230. He's a big guy. So he's got a lot of strength. And I mean, you made a comment before the show and you said, what'd you say? Go ahead.
So just in situations like this, I feel like we always we got to just kind of appreciate the judicial process on this thing. Just let all the info come out. We're talking about rights that like people died for, so just, give the guy his process. And I'm not defending him one way or the other. If, all these things are true, it's terrible. You know what I mean? Like, man should never put his hands on a woman, but give the guy a fair shake. We can't throw the guy to the wolves, and I had to go digging for info. Up until this point, I really didn't even know any info. It was just the charges. So any situation like that, I just feel like, let them have their process. And at the end of the day, if he's in the wrong, NFL suspension list, you know what I mean? He's going on the suspension list. So, and he might be anyway.
He might be. I mean, we'll see what happens here. I know that there's obviously, like you said, the judicial process has to play out. Then there's the NFL's personal conduct policy, bull crap that they got to go through. So it's kind of Mike Hall all over again. It's kind of, I don't remember exactly when that was last year, but it kind of felt like this time. Maybe not quite so soon after the draft. I think it was over the summer when his thing came out. But, and then obviously more details came out about Mike Hall's situation where the, woman kind of retracted some of the stuff that she had originally alleged, and the situation wasn't quite what it was initially made out to be. But at the end of the day, we were just hoping to avoid any of this stuff in this offseason. Like, Browns player arrested for fill in the blank. We don't need it. Like, I don't care if he's speeding. We don't need more speeding. We don't need a wreck. We just don't need stuff. I'm tired of stuff,
That's fair. I mean, honestly, like, you hate to see this kind of stuff,
Yes.
you really hate to see it. It sucks now, but at the same time, like we've said, let it all play out. It's really, really unfortunate as far as like playoff wise, or not playoff wise, but football wise, because that's a room that we're not sure what we have right now. Jordan Hicks, we feel like he's pretty solid and we're counting on the rookie, but JOK, we're not sure really anything. I know he's at voluntary workouts and stuff like that, but that doesn't really mean anything at all. So it's just, he was a guy who kind of finished the season nice. Like, last year he did well, considering he was trying to bounce back on his career, got a new contract, another year contract, and just unfortunate, but if he did what he said, they say he did, then, just gonna have to be responsible for your actions. And it sucks.
And the other comment you made before the show that I 100% agreed with was, why did it have to be a massage table?
Yeah, sorry. I completely, that was the one thing that I was reading it and I went, oh God, why massage table?
A pool table, a ping pong table, a dining room table, any table, a card table, but a massage table. Did it had end table?
Anything, bro. Just anything.
Massage table. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Speaking of massage tables, the Ravens did release Justin Tucker after they drafted his replacement in what was it, the sixth round? I think.
Round.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tyler Poole, is that his name?
Yep. Something like that. Yeah. I mean, all I took away from that when I saw it was, oh, there it is. Hey, there's the replacement.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah. And I said, so zero tolerance for the Ravens means we're not going to put up with this. We're going to cut you as soon as we get your replacement secured.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. As soon as the draft's over.
Yeah. As soon as we got somebody to fill in. But do you think anybody picks him up? Is anybody picking up Justin Tucker with this stuff going on?
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where teams probably will reach out, but man, I feel like with the Watson situation, maybe teams probably are like, hey, that looks a little too hot for us.
Maybe we should just
lay low on this. Yeah. Let's go and see if we can get somebody from, the USFL or something like that. That's the direction I would go right now, but
yep.
Each their own.
Yeah. Well, I honestly, I don't know. I don't know if anybody's going to sign him. That would the PR nightmare that comes along with that would be.
Yes.
I mean, as a Browns fan, it'd be kind of nice if somebody else did sign him because I can take some of that crap, that energy elsewhere. But
I
don't know.
Well, I don't think it's going anywhere, man.
I don't think so either. I think it's here at least until March 2026 is whenever I predict Deshaun Watson will be cut. So moving on, another thing that Browns fans, this one sucks. Like, as much as Devin Bush getting arrested is like a pain in the ass type of thing to talk about, this one just hurts the soul. We got news the other day that Jerome Ford took a pay cut. I think he was slated to make somewhere around like $3.85 million.
I got 3.4
million.
Yeah, you're there.
Okay, so then he took pay cut. Now he's down to, I believe it was 1.75.
That's 100% what I have. Yes.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense because it's 50% of what he was guaranteed for the season. And Mary Kay was talking about this, Tony Grossi, I think, and they were saying how him taking the pay cut, or I guess Nick Chubb coming back, was predicated on whether or not Jerome Ford took this pay cut or was moved after the Browns drafted 2 running backs in the draft. So him taking the pay cut is kind of his way of locking in a roster spot to be sort of that, receiving down back, RB3 on the roster, plus probably return
special teams. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever Carter doesn't want to return, I guess.
Right.
Or whoever wins that. Yeah. Yep. I'll tell you, man. And we've all been trying to prepare for this. I believe, as Browns fans, we should have. I read it and I was gutted because to me, it's just the writings on the wall. Let's just break it down real quick. So you've got 2 rookies who both can take on a workload, who are very capable. You have Ford now taking a pay cut, probably, like you said, reduced role. What does that leave? What workload is left? You know what I mean? Like, you can't. Are we going to take 4 running backs into the roster? And how does that work? Do we want that for Nick Chubb? I feel like, as a fan of Nick Chubb, because I love the Browns, I'm also a fan of Nick Chubb. I don't want Nick Chubb to come in and get 2 carries a game for, 6 games and then traded into a different situation. I understand you have to respect like his legacy as a Browns player and what he's done. And he was just another, like a Jarvis Landry, except way, way more loved by Browns fans. But what I will say is there is no role. Unless I like you said, they were talking about trading Ford. You can't practice squad any of those guys. Even Ford, I would think Ford would probably get plucked easily. You're not putting Nick Chubb on the practice squad. So where is the workload, if any workload at all? And why would we want that other than just to be, oh, he's still in Cleveland, he's still a Cleveland Brown? Yeah. I don't want that Nick Chubb at all. I want Nick Chubb to go out there and go, hey, you guys were way wrong. And I know that sucks as a Browns fan, but I want him to go be successful. I don't see it as a Cleveland Brown.
The thing is, if he goes to Chicago, let's say he goes to Chicago, and he does have a resurgent year, and I wouldn't look at that necessarily like, hey, the Browns were wrong, because the situation that the Browns are in, they can say as much as they want that we're not rebuilding and all this stuff. You're freaking rebuilding. You're strongly retooling. Call it whatever you want. This is not a team that's ready to compete for any sort of championship right now. So it doesn't make sense to continue to, try to trot out there an almost 30-year-old running back whenever you have the draft capital to allocate, and there are studs in this draft that you can have for the next at least 4, for the rookie contracts, maybe longer. We'll see how it goes. I mean, Quinshon Judkins is a stud.
Yes.
And Dylan Sampson is being slept on by a lot of people.
Yes.
I think that he could have gone to a running back needy team and been a feature back.
Been the guy.
Yeah.
Yes. Agreed, bro. So, which is nice for us. Go ahead.
Well, probably what you were just going to say. Like, these guys can keep each other fresh the way that Quinshon and Travion Henderson did at Ohio State.
Yes. I'm 100% with you. Go ahead.
I don't see Quinshon needing to do a 300 carry season or, a 250 carry season, maybe like 200, but I could see Sampson doing 150 or they could be very offsetting and very productive because they're both so good.
And you're not pushing these guys down the depth chart.
No.
Just to have, and it sucks. I hate to say this, but just to have Nick Chubb on your roster or as the thing that makes me nervous about it is I think that whether the Browns made a decision because they were doing this draft or whether it's medicals or what, I think that the Browns have moved on. The fan base has not. But the Browns organization, based on everything that we've seen, they have moved on. And even today I saw somebody, Kevin Collard on X, somebody posted in the Discord. They said that the Browns have reached out to Nick Chubb's camp and they were really working on bringing him back to Cleveland. And I'm like, for what? I just don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand what the point of that would be other than a PR situation. Sell tickets, sell merchandise, sell jerseys. But as a fan of Nick Chubb, I don't want to see him come in and get a goal line stance every, other game or something like that. I'm good. Go to a situation where Chicago, you're paired up with DeAndre, Swift. You have Roschon Johnson behind you. That's an opportunity. And then you can play possibly for another contract if it works out. But like you said, he's almost 30. All the metrics say, hey, the wheels kind of fall off at this point,
Mm-hmm.
and whether we're defending it because we're loyal fans of Nick Chubb or we're Browns fans or both, I want him to be successful. And if there's a guy that can do it, it is Nick Chubb. But I'll be the first to say it. The Browns are moving forward. It is what it is.
I think that's fair. And I wonder, I have to go look at that tweet myself because I wonder when that was said that they were reaching out to Nick Chubb, because I do believe that I think that there was still interest in bringing Nick Chubb back before the draft.
Absolutely.
But they needed to see how things played out. They knew they were coming away with a back. They were targeting somebody. They met with Quinshawn. They met with Scadaboo. They met with Tootin. They met with some guys that they I think they narrowed down their process and said, these are the guys we think could fit our system. They got that extra second round pick and they said, we're just going to take our favorite guy, the one we like the best, and it was Quinshawn, which I'm glad they did. I'm pumped about that. So they got him, and I still think if the draft had played out without another running back, I think Nick Chubb becomes a much more likely option to come in here and be sort of the Kareem Hunt to Quinshawn Judkins' new Nick Chubb.
Yes.
Fourth round rolls around 126. Dylan freaking Sampson still sitting there. He was projected as like a second or third round talent at worst. And he's available in the fourth round. He's the SEC Offensive Player of the Year, all SEC running back. Like, dude, you have to take him.
And I think that's why, like, for me as a fan, I can't get upset. I will be sad. Don't get me wrong. I will be very sad because it's the closing of a chapter. Honestly, to me, it goes, hopefully this is the beginning of something, beginning of something new and different from what we went through, but for the most part. But, I think that's going to be the tough part is he's Batman. He's Nick Chubb in a Browns jersey. It's going to be very difficult not seeing him in a Browns jersey. Yeah. But we're at that point. And honestly, the fan base should be stoked. These two dudes are studs. Like you said, if there's anything you can take away about the offense moving forward, the run game is going to be phenomenal. As long as the offensive line can get back to basics, we're going to be phenomenal.
Yeah. And I mean, remember how Nick Chubb's career started here. I don't want to repeat that, where you got this high draft capital in the second round running back, this rookie, explosive, and you're opting to play Carlos Hyde, ancient 29-year-old Carlos, however old he was. He's broken down. He's not what he was when he was younger. But no, that's the guy we want to lean on. And Nick Chubb's just sitting there like, I could really help you guys out. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that to Nick Chubb. And I don't want to do that to Quinshawn. I mean, I want him to be able to just get on the field and do your thing. Because
absolutely,
running backs are the most valuable for your team when they are young, when they are rookies, because you got them cheap and you get them fresh. You get them when they're at their best physically. This is the time to ride them. And
there's tread on the tire.
So much tread on the tire, man. It's going to be a lot of fun, but it does suck. But rooting for Nick Chubb, like you said, wherever he goes, it's just, unfortunately, it's not going to be in Cleveland.
I'm with you on that. I don't see it.
No. And we've kind of been talking about that for a while. So I think we've been a little more prepared, trying to prepare our listeners and stuff. But there was always like that hope, right, in the back that, hey, maybe he'll just sign on and it'll be okay. But,
yeah, absolutely.
This episode is sponsored by Omaha Steaks. Do you guys love smash burgers? The crispy caramelized sear and the bold beefy flavor of Omaha Steaks smash burgers are to die for. I got the new smash burgers from Omaha Steaks and holy crap, guys, these things are delicious. They're thinner patties, so I grill up 2 of them, slap on 2 pieces of cheese and make myself the best double stack burger ever. Forget the mess of making smash burgers yourself. Get 16 free burgers in the Built for the Grill pack at omahasteaks.com/smash. They're pre-smashed, so you can enjoy smash burgers at home. No griddle or cast iron pan required, and they won't fall apart on the grill when you flip them. These burgers are made from 100% premium aged Omaha Steaks beef for exceptional quality and flavor. Omaha Steaks smash burgers go from freezer to bun in just 5 minutes. So get ready to smash expectations with new Omaha Steaks smash burgers. Visit omahasteaks.com/smash and order the Built for the Grill pack with 16 free smash burgers. That is 16 free Omaha Steaks smash burgers at omahasteaks.com/smash. See site for details. So let's talk about another older player, but not super old, 28-year-old Diontae Johnson. We talked about it last week. The Browns signed him. Didn't get the contract information last week. The details weren't out, but we were kind of mixed on it, thinking, is he really the best person to bring into the locker room? There was a lot of problems with him on 4 different teams last year alone. Don't really know exactly what the extent of those issues was, but still doesn't look good. The optics aren't good, but came out that his contract is just a 1-year, $1.17 veteran minimum deal, no guaranteed money. So if things go south, if it's not going right in camp and stuff, they can just cut him. No skin. So not a bad deal. Very, very interesting. I figured it would be a little bit higher than that. This is kind of his last chance, right? I would think so, man.
This has got to be, I feel like the Browns are kind of offering him like one last ride to prove that he can get back to being who he was. If he is the guy he used to be, even going back to those first, 4 games last year with Carolina.
Yeah.
He slides in and he's the 2 right off the bat. Mm-hmm. He got some drop issues, great route runner. You know what I mean? And a weapon that we don't have now. But the biggest thing is, does he have everything figured out? That's what it all comes down to. If he's good, he's going to be great for us. As long as whoever's throwing the ball can get at the ball, whoever that person is.
I think I'm a little little less excited about it than you are. I think if he can put it all back together and everything, I think he'll be good for us. I don't know about great, and it does have a lot to do with the quarterback situation. I'm pulling up his stats. When he was in Pittsburgh in 2022 playing with Kenny Pickett, interesting, they brought them back together. Yes. He did play all 17 games. He had 147 targets, 86 catches, only 882 yards, and a big old goose egg in the TD category. Yeah. But then again, Kenny Pickett threw, 6 touchdowns that whole year? Great. Something like that. Like, he's never thrown double-digit touchdowns. That's why I'm not big on Kenny Pickett. But the following year in Pittsburgh, he had 717 yards. He had 5 touchdowns that year. And
then it got rough.
And then last year got rough. Pittsburgh trades him to Carolina. Carolina then says, nope, no thank you. We're trading you to Baltimore. Baltimore says, no thank you. We're cutting you. Houston says, we have no receivers. Everybody's hurt. We will sign you. And then instantly cut you. And it was just not a good look at all.
Yep. I mean, and who knows what's going on? We're just guessing that, people go through shit. Yes. You know what I mean? He's a human being, straight up. Like when you're a Baltimore or Houston, you kind of have flexibility. You can go, yeah, I don't really want this in the locker room. I don't need this. It is interesting. We touched on this last episode, though. Like, you came away from the draft going, these are all guys that are these are all grinders. You know what I mean? These are all, hardworking guys, blah, blah, blah. Locker room guys. You keep hearing that, great locker room guys. And then you bring in Diontae Johnson, who
that's true.
I don't know what's going on in the locker room, but something's going on, I'm guessing 4 different teams now, going back to Pittsburgh. I don't want to say like necessity, because I don't think I'm excited about Diontae Johnson, but I also think that Cedric Tillman if he could develop and just stay on the field,
Yeah.
I loved what I saw from him for those, 3 games where he kind of took on that role. I guess if things do go south, you still have Cedric Tillman, which I would think that he would continue to get better if he can stay on the field. But I mean, after that, not a lot of depth. A lot of guys that we hope can be good when given the opportunity, but not a lot of proven.
No, I think you only have one player on the roster outside of Judy and Tillman who's ever caught an NFL touchdown.
That's wonderful.
David Bell's had 3 in
Yes.
4 years now. And everybody else has none. Like we have no proven production in our wide receiver room outside of Jerry Judy. Tillman, like you said, I mean, it's been 3 games in 2 years. So that's really it. We're hoping that those 3 years those 3 games was leading to, the breakout, but we'll never know.
And I think he was primed for the breakout. Honestly, I remember a point last year where I was going, I'm not sure who the one is on this team.
Right, because Jerry
I'm
Judy
not
was
sure
kind
if
of
it's
like
Tillman or Judy.
Yeah.
They kind of were both flashing a little bit. And then once Tillman went out, it was Jerry Judy show all day.
Right.
But there's not a lot of depth. So you kind of have to rely that this guy can figure some things out.
Yeah, I did see a tweet or post, I guess they call it now, on X.
Okay.
And I forget who it was, and I don't think there was really a source, but they said that Diontae Johnson's main issues with his teams was it was around his involvement in the offense. He wasn't happy with how he was being utilized. And okay, maybe in Pittsburgh, I get it. I mean, we're not fans of Arthur Smith. Don't think he runs a great, offense for receivers, at least. And then, you got George Pickens, and it's just always a weird thing in Pittsburgh with receivers. Yeah. So it wasn't as strange to see him get traded to Carolina. And Carolina's just, they're not great, know. And then, he goes to Baltimore. Baltimore's wide receiver room is just never productive. They're focusing on Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman. I'm just saying there's some credibility to that theory that maybe it was just about his involvement. Houston, I don't really get that one because, you got Diggs, you got Tank Dell were both out. So it was just Nico.
For the season. Done.
Like they were gone. So,
and Nico, I'm pretty sure Nico had just gotten back. So really Nico was the only option.
Right. Houston's kind of the other 3 I can sort of explain away. In that sense, Houston, I don't get.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Must have just came in, thrown a trash can. Got to get out of here, bro. I don't know, because they desperately needed him.
Yeah,
like we kind of desperately need him now.
That's what I was going to say. Like if you're going to try to, restart your kind of, your career, your back end of your career, go to the team that's got the worst wide receiver room in the NFL, and it's probably the Browns right now.
That's fair. Yeah,
unfortunately, but. Okay, let's talk about Dillon Gabriel before we talk about Shedeur Sanders, because we're going to spend a lot of time talking about Shedeur and some stuff that's going on, and we got to talk about it. But came out over the weekend that Dillon Gabriel, and this was Nathan Zagura was actually talking about this. So he's in the Browns building, like he's getting this information from, like he talked to Kevin Stefanski specifically about this, and said that they had Dillon Gabriel as the number 2 quarterback on their draft board behind Cam Ward. So it wasn't Shedeur, it wasn't Jalen Milroe, it wasn't Tyler Shuck or Jackson Dart. It was actually Dillon Gabriel was the number 2 guy. And, he said that Segura said Gabriel wins the way that Kevin Stefanski wants his quarterback to win. He's, accurate. He's smart, with the football, good decision maker. He can throw the ball on the move going both right and left. All these types of things. And he said that if Dillon Gabriel was 6'3" instead of 5'11", he probably would have been taken at 2 overall. Like that's how much they liked him and what he could do on the field. So if you're getting a potentially, I would take this guy at number 2 if he was a little taller. Skill set, that's the thing. Like the height doesn't change. Like he still has that skill set.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
You get him at 94 and that was your guy? I like that. I think that's pretty cool.
It's crazy because I don't know how you felt when that pick came in.
Confused.
Completely
confused,
like, where
man.
did that come from? What? I'm very lost. But then you go and and we've discussed this, you watch their draft call to him. That was their guy.
Oh,
you can tell.
They knew the family. They were saying hi to the mom. Hey, dad.
That was their guy all along. Was it the right guy? I mean, we'll find out.
We'll see.
We will find out. But I do think that based on that call, when you watch that call, you're like, yeah, this was always to do. This was all smoke. You know what I mean? Everything was going on behind the scenes, and it didn't need to be talked about or any of that or broadcasted. But it's interesting though. I know during the draft I went, well, I don't know what we're doing right now. I'm not sure. And you hear a lot of Browns fans kind of say the same thing, just based on the height. I'm with you on if he was taller, I think that he would be viewed a lot higher, but that's what everybody says. Hey, the height. I mean, Oregon's got a pretty big offensive line, right?
A lot of NFL players.
Yeah, I would guess Oklahoma as well.
Yeah, usually.
I don't know where I'm going with this, but let's just see what the kid can do. And that's what, did we not just beg for this? We begged for a competition. We begged for, hey, mediocrity is not cool in this quarterback room right now. And it was below mediocrity from what we saw last year. We banged the desk for quarterback competition, and we got that in spades. They gave us way more than we could ever ask for as far as, do you have the guy right now? And then if you don't, hey, we'll go get a first round pick too, just in case, one of these three future guys are not the guy.
I think it was brilliant. I mean, the Travis Hunter trade makes so much more sense knowing that they had Dillon Gabriel pegged as their guy. Because if Ward, I think everything about them trying to explore trade up to 1 for Ward was true because he was number 1 on their board. Mm-hmm. When that fell through and they couldn't get up to 1, it was like, okay, then we're locked in on Dillon Gabriel. Let's go, like you said, let's go get more draft capital in the first round for next year, just in case he's not the guy. And if he is the guy, now we got 2 first round picks next year to continue to help build this team, or we can trade it for go into 2027. I see a lot of people are like, go get as much capital as you can to try to get Jeremiah Smith. Like, okay, your options are more open, but like all the moves in the draft make more sense knowing that they were never leaving day 2 without Dillon Gabriel.
Yeah, which is very, very crazy. Because all the guys that we pegged that we figured were the guys for the Browns, as far as the Jackson Darts, Shedeur, Milroe, this dude was not on the radar.
No, we never talked about him.
The radar in the least. Am I excited? I mean, we got to watch him a little bit. We watched him look great against us one game, and then maybe not so great the second time around. I'm not upset about it or anything. The whole
team, but, Ohio State just made everybody look bad.
Yes, exactly. But I'm excited as far as the idea that we have 2 rookies on this team now, that you can explore what you have as far as a future franchise star.
Yeah, and like you said, last year the room was just so far below mediocrity. It was the worst.
It was dog shit, bro.
It was complete dog shit. Is Dillon Gabriel better than Bailey Zappi?
I mean, it's hard to say just right that, but I would say yes.
Just based on what he did in college, being he was the number 3 in Heisman voting, for crying out loud.
Yes.
And he was the only, he was the first quarterback in Heisman voting.
What I'll tell you is, I can tell you right now that it wasn't Jameis, it wasn't DTR, it wasn't Bailey Zappi, and it wasn't Deshaun Watson. I'm okay with moving forward. Whoever the guy is that you guys identify, and in this organization, if you identify him, go. We are good.
That's what we said. How many times did we say on this podcast, identify your guy, have conviction about it, and get him. And
go get it.
I mean,
who gives a shit what anybody says, whether it's a podcast or the national media or anything? Who cares? Go identify your guy, go get him.
And
they did that.
94 was out. I mean, I strongly believe that however they write out their board in the room, they had 94, Dillon Gabriel circled. Like that was it. Yeah. That was it. We're using that pick to take him, because there were other guys on the board that I'm sitting there, on that Friday night going, oh man, okay, like Xavier Watts is there. There's some wide receivers here that I really like. I mean, there's some good players, some linemen here. Okay, there's some good people on the board. And I mean, as soon as 94 came up, it was like, boom, Browns select Dillon Gabriel. Well, okay, looking back now, that was a conviction pick. They didn't give a shit about anybody else on the board or what anybody said, like you just mentioned. They were taking.
And everybody, the crazy thing for me is like the pick comes in and everybody goes, they panicked. Milroe
I know. I thought
they
the
just
same
took
thing.
Whoever the fuck they wanted. They freaked out. They should have just chilled out. They freaked out. And then you watch all this stuff and you watch that draft call and you go, They didn't panic. That was their guy. They identified their guy and they went and got their guy. I'm absolutely cool with it. I'm fine. Is it surprising? Yes. Give him an opportunity. I would say anybody but Joe Flacco, give him an opportunity.
Yeah.
See what they have. Find out what you have before the NFL draft next year.
You have to. They have to. I've argued with so many people on social media this week about the Joe Flacco thing. They're like, I just don't want to watch bad football anymore. I'm like, Joe Flacco is 41 years old. I mean, you can't, he's not going to be the quarterback next year. And he sure as hell ain't going to be the quarterback the year after that. He hasn't played a full season since 27 freaking teen. Yeah. You know, we're getting close to a decade here.
Yeah. I will die on the sword that it's, if they don't play those three young guys that they invested draft capital in, and we run Flacco for 17 games and we go into next year not knowing what the hell we have, I will have serious doubts about leadership in this organization or vision or anything, because even if that's your guy and you want him to, I guess, sit for a year, I don't know. I know everybody says, hey, I just want to watch them win. I can tell you right now, I will be shocked if Joe Flacco gets through 6 games healthy.
Well, and the sit for a year thing doesn't apply as much. And I know we've kind of pounded the table for that too. Like, and that was if you take a guy at 2, because if you take a guy at 2, then you are committing to him that you are a guy and you're the guy next year and you're the guy the year after that. So yes, you can have a little more patient approach. But when you step back and look at Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, look at their body, both of their bodies of work in college. They're 2 of the most experienced quarterbacks in this entire draft class. We talk about how the quarterback position's evolving in college and stuff coming into the pros and in the NFL, it's evolving. The older quarterbacks, now I'm not talking about the Tyler Shucks who are like 26 or 27 years old, whatever. Sure. But, your 23, 24-year-olds who have played 4 or 5 seasons in college have started a shit ton of games and have all that experience. Like Bo Nix last year, Jaden Daniels, like these guys that were never really, first round talents until that last season of college when it kind of all came together. Yep. And you see that experience, and then the transition to the NFL is just so much easier.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you, man. And we don't have a franchise quarterback right now, at least not that we know of. And maybe it's one of these 3 guys, but we all know the one that it's not. You know what I mean? We know the one that it's not. So I'm very okay. I don't want to watch a young kid go out there and just get murdered. I don't want to see DTR against Baltimore for 17 weeks, whether it's Shedeur, whether it's Gabriel, or whether it's Kenny. Give these guys their chance, give them snaps, but see what you have. You have to establish if there's a guy here.
100%. And if you don't feel like one of the rookies is quite ready to go out there week 1, that's why you got Kenny Pickett. Yeah. And we still kind of got to, like Blake says, got to kind of see what you got in Kenny Pickett too, because
I agree. Yeah.
I know he's got a little more high hopes. I'm more like, I think I've seen Kenny Pickett, but maybe I'm wrong, and I'm totally open-minded on it. So if I'm wrong about Kenny Pickett, hey, that's just better for the Browns.
Whatever I do, I would be surprised, but at the same time, whatever it means as far as for us to be a winning organization. Yes. I'm tired of the same fucking song and dance every fucking year where we have no quarterback. Or if we do have a quarterback, it's not a long-term thing.
Yeah, I 100% agree. So speaking of the rookies, the Browns did finally release. I feel like all the other teams have released what their rookie jersey numbers are going to be. And everybody's kind of waiting because people want to know, what jersey am I buying? What number am I getting? All that kind of, you want to know what these guys are wearing out there. So the rookie jersey numbers were released. And we kind of knew Mason Graham was going to wear 94. Mm-hmm. And by the way, they did, the Browns did say this is what they're going to be wearing throughout camp and throughout the summer, subject to change. Obviously, there's roster cut downs. Maybe a guy gets cut. One of these rookies says, hey, I wanted that guy's number to begin with. I'm going to change. That stuff happens every year. So none of this stuff is set in stone, which I think is interesting when we get to a certain number. But Graham is at 94. Schweschinger is at 49. That was his college number. I imagine that's probably what he's going to keep. Judkins took 10. which is interesting.
Nasty.
I thought for sure he was going to take 1, but then we saw the veteran numbers, and lo and behold, here's Martin Emerson Jr. topping the list. He has changed from 23 to number 1. So Judkins is going with the 1-0 for now. Harold Fannin Jr.'s taking the 88, which I think is sweet. I love that for a tight end. Dillon Gabriel is going to go 5 since Kenny Pickett took 8. Dylan Sampson is going to rock 22, and Shedeur Sanders is not going to wear number 2, at least during the summer. He's taken number 12 because, as I'm sure most of you listening and watching know, and I think a lot of Browns fans out there, at least on social media, are really mad at DeAndre Carter. I see a lot of people that are looking at these graphics online going, who the is DeAndre, or who's Carter? Number 2? Who is that?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's DeAndre Carter, the wide receiver, but mostly kick returner that we signed a few months ago.
Yeah. Yes.
The 30-year-old. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but I just don't get it. I just don't get why we're so upset about numbers. Like, are we bored as a fan base that this is what we're upset about right now? Like, I just don't get it, man. I get like that's his brand and stuff like that. But why if somebody should be upset, it should be him, not the fan base that he didn't get a number. That the last thing I haven't heard a peep from Shedeur about this.
Nothing.
So why is the fan base rallying to? I do think it's funny that DeAndre Carter took number 2.
I know.
When you sent that, I had not seen the numbers, and I was like, "What is Amari Cooper coming back?" And they just want to keep that. What's going on? I did not get what you were talking about, but I just think it's stupid, man. Honestly, like I really do. For him, I get the importance of numbers and stuff like that, as far as like significance, like whether it's a family member or something like that, or it's you've worn it your entire career. I get that. You're a rookie in the NFL. There's guys that have put in years of time and sweat, tears, all that crap. Those guys, especially in a locker room, those guys are getting those numbers. Are they going to be on the team? Like you said, who knows? Maybe you get an opportunity to, get your old number. But I like I told you, I'd come in and play my ass off to the point where I'm so good, they let me pick the number down the road. You know what I mean? I'm going to make sure that I establish myself as the dude that's going to get first dibs on a number.
Yeah.
And I think you have to do that. You're a rookie. Put your time in.
Yep. And I've seen a lot of people kind of go in the other way. So Shedeur took number 12. And, 12, they were talking about that's like his father's number inverted. His father was 21. Now he's 12. Travis Hunter was number 12. Tom Brady, like you were just going to say, his mentor, number 12. So there's some significance to it there. And like we talked about at the beginning of this, I mean, Carter could be cut at the end of camp. Number 2's available. Shedeur switches, and now he's wearing number 2, and all is right with the world, but I don't think it's a big deal. We've been talking in our group chat about Abdul Carter for the Giants.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys out there have been following like his jersey number adventure. His journey. Yeah. He approached Lawrence Taylor, Hall of Fame linebacker for the Giants, about wearing 56.
Baddest ass dude ever.
And it's like, wait, so you wore 11 in college, and the first thing you do is go after 56 from a Hall of Famer that's retired. Like the number's retired.
One of the best of all time.
And he pretty much told him, no, pick another number and go make that one famous. Is basically what he told Carter. So then Carter went to Phil Simms and asked for number 11, and Simms was like, yeah, sure. Let me talk to my family. And the family and the agent were like, don't you freaking dare. You idiot.
He said he got outvoted by his family. I was like, no, somebody just got in your ear, bro. Somebody got in your ear.
So Abdul Carter will not be getting either of the numbers that he wanted from the. It's just one of those things. Like I was not impressed one bit with Abdul Carter during the pre-draft process. You guys know that. We talked about it on the show. Mm-hmm. I felt like his attitude and his approach to everything was very entitled and kind of like, dude, you're a rookie. You haven't proven anything yet. I get it that you're a really good player, but go out there and do it on the NFL field, and then you can be cocky and stuff. But then here he is. He still hasn't. I don't think he's even run a drill, and he's asking for Hall of Famers numbers. It's just, I don't know. I don't like it.
Create your own number. You know what I mean? I know that's so just corny and like cliche, but go make it your own. Go make that number important.
I'm with you. So kind of talking about Shedeur with the number, like I've seen people say, the Browns are screwing him over by not letting him have 2, or, they're making him work for the number 2, just like they're making him work for a roster spot and all this stuff. And it's like you said, the veteran took 2. You're rookie. Yeah. You're a 5th round pick. If you were the number 1 overall pick in the league or in the draft, maybe a different story. Maybe you get a little higher priority because there's some serious investment into you. Your 5th round pick. Mm-hmm. It is what it is.
What you'll see too in a situation like this with like veterans, and like let's say a guy gets traded, you'll see a star player come in and basically buy their number. They'll basically get him a car or a watch or a slingshot. I don't know, just something, a form of gift for that number. If you really want to be a certain number, there you go. You know what I mean? That's your way. But I'm with you. I don't think that the Browns are screwing him over. This is what has been going on for as long as I can remember, as far as like with numbers and stuff like this. The thing that really bothers me about the whole thing with everybody getting upset is it's silence on that end, on the Shedeur end. Like, why are we getting upset about stuff like this? Like, well, and he's a rookie. He's got to, and from what I've seen, you got to come in, you got to put the work in, let him do that. We're not even allowing him to put the work in because we're so worried about what the next thing he's going to do. Just let the kid just develop and be his own man. And
that's part of the media entourage that we're just going to have to endure as Browns fans with him here, because again, it's nothing against him. Like you said, he's not out there saying anything. He's not griping about not getting the number 2, but it's just everybody else losing their minds about this stuff. And I mean, it's just this social media world that we live in now where everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got a voice to, yeah. So, I mean, you could argue the same thing about Quinshon Judkins. I mean, he was a high 2nd round pick and they gave the veteran the number 1 choice over him.
That's how it works.
It is how it works. I mean, obviously Martin Emerson has proven himself on the field, but so obviously DeAndre Carter has too. He's been in the league for like 10 years.
I can tell you right now, if Shedeur Sanders ends up being the franchise quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, he'll get to wear any number he wants.
Yeah.
He could literally go, I think I want to be, I know there's actually rules for it, but as far as what the numbers can be, but he could pretty much have his
Actually, I don't think there's rules anymore.
Is there not?
I thought they did away with those. That's why you're seeing receivers wearing.
They had like offensive linemen had to be a certain like from one.
Yeah, they did. But now it's 65. I think it's college. It's college rules now where whatever you want. I mean,
throw your number up.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. You end up being the quarterback for this team that has looked for a quarterback for the last 30 years. Any number you want, it is yours. I promise.
This episode is sponsored by Manly Bands. Guys, is your wedding band old, outdated, or just not the same taste you had when you were younger? Or hey, maybe you're about to get married, but you don't want to deal with the salespeople at the jewelry stores. Manly Bands has the best wedding bands made specifically for men. They have the classic timeless gold and white gold styles, but they also have rings made from platinum, black zirconium, tungsten, titanium, even materials like meteorite and dinosaur bone. Yes, your wedding ring could be made from a dinosaur fossil. That is a real thing. They also have different ring collections, like their Jack Daniels rings made from actual Jack Daniels whiskey barrels. They also have Lord of the Rings and DC Comics band collections. Head over to manlybands.com/dogs and take advantage of their 30% off sale with free shipping. Plus, use promo code DAWGS, DAWGS, when you check out for another 10% off your order. Now, every Manly band comes with a free silicone ring, and if you don't know your ring size, that's okay. You can order a free ring size chart from Manly Bands to make sure that you know exactly the right size before you order. And then if you get your ring and it doesn't fit just right, you can always return it or exchange it without any hassle. And I know this because I like my rings to be a little more loose, and the first band that I got was just a little too snug for the way I like to wear it. So I exchanged it, and the whole process was quick, easy, and I had my new ring in no time. And now Manly Bands is even accessorizing men beyond just your wedding rings with their chain necklaces and chain bracelets made for men by men. And if you need groomsmen gifts or anything else, Manly Bands has you covered with their barware, whiskey glasses, flasks. They even have customized coasters and flight trays. So skip the jewelry stores, avoid the salespeople, and get a wedding band that was designed for you. manlybands.com/dogs to get 30% off, free shipping, plus get an extra 10% off when you use code DAWGS, DAWGS, when you check out. Well, according to Robert Griffin III, former Browns quarterback for a hot second, you have not seen this yet, so I'm going to read this to you. Yeah. He thinks that Shedeur Sanders is being set up for dysfunction by the Cleveland Browns. So this is what he posted. He said, the Browns have $230 million quarterback that won't play. They brought in 4 quarterbacks this offseason, and the last one they brought in, Shedeur Sanders, is the number 1 selling jersey of all rookies, despite being drafted in the 5th round after their 3rd round pick, Dillon Gabriel. Joe Flacco is a Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, who will limit Kenny Pickett's reps. Kenny Pickett is a veteran going into his 4th year in the NFL who will limit Dillon Gabriel's reps. Dillon Gabriel was a 3rd-round pick this year who will get reps before his fellow rookie Shedeur Sanders. Yet Shedeur is the headliner. He sells the tickets. He sells the jerseys. He sells confidence to his teammates who have said they can't wait to play with him. Top-level players across the NFL are talking about how good of a player Shedeur Sanders is and how he was done dirty in the NFL draft. The Browns headliner is their 4th quarterback on the roster who will get the least amount of reps and opportunity in the group. That is set up for dysfunction. That is the Browns.
So I think part of what he said is right. As far as like the Joe Flacco taking reps from Kenny Pickett, you're 100% right. 100%. The problem with this, as far as like creating a disaster and stuff like this, the media is pushing that it's a disaster. They want to create dysfunction. They want to create turmoil. That's because people talk about it, because people get excited about it. They start believing said narrative that, oh, the Browns are dysfunctional. They are doing Shedeur wrong. To me, I think this is silly. If anything, you listen to his call and they said, hey, come in, work, earn your spot, blah, blah, blah. They told him everything that he needed to do. Now he just has to go and do that. If he goes out and proves that he is everything that RG3 just said, this is a silly debate in a couple of years. You know what I mean? We laugh about this. We literally laugh. But I do think that it's good for competition. I think that, maybe he did need a little pushing. Maybe he did need a little motivation. This is good. Competition breeds a lot of good things when it's genuine and there's guys who are in a quarterback competition. To be the starter, this is a good thing. I don't understand why this isn't a good thing.
Well, and I'm going to say something here that I'm probably going to get just dragged through the mud here on the comments on YouTube. But just hear what I'm saying, okay? I'm not saying that Shedeur Sanders is not good. He fell to the 5th round. And I did this on my last podcast about when I was talking about these 2 quarterbacks. He was the 6th quarterback taken, okay? 5 QB needy teams said, actually 6 of them said, we don't want you. Now you can have your opinion as to why they didn't want him, but let's go on the thought process that it's about football. And they said, we just don't think you're that good. The Titans took Cam Ward number 1 overall. The Giants traded back up in the 1st round to take Jackson Dart over him. The Saints took Tyler Shuck in the 2nd round over him. Right. And then the Seahawks said, hey, let's get a quarterback in here for the future. They took Jalen Milroe over him. The Browns then took Dillon Gabriel over him. And the Steelers passed him every chance they got.
Yep.
So that's 6 teams.
With no quarterbacks.
With Mason Rudolph. Yes, with no quarterbacks. And even if they get Aaron Rodgers, that's a 1-year stopgap. If Shedeur Sanders is that good, it would make a lot of sense to get him into Pittsburgh for this year to chill behind Aaron Rodgers and learn and just continue to develop and then be the guy next year. That would make a lot of sense. What if, don't kill me, guys, I'm just throwing it out there.
Sure.
What if Shedeur Sanders isn't that good? What if he looked really good in, his conference against that competition? Mm-hmm. But when the actual, evaluator hats came on, the scouts sat down and looked at the tape, they said, this isn't going to play in the NFL. This is just not going to play.
It's fair. I mean, hey, I don't think you're going to get drugged super hard through the mud on that.
We'll
I really
see.
don't.
We'll
maybe
see.
a little bit. Maybe a little bit. I honestly, I do disagree with you. I do think he's talented, but I think a lot of the pre-draft process kind of hurt him a lot. Yeah. I think the more you hear about the interview process and stuff like that, I think that left a very bad taste in some teams' mouth. I love Dion. I can remember 6 months ago, Dion talking about if these certain teams draft my kid, that he won't play there. That also does not help your draft capital.
True.
Stuff like that. I think he came in with a lot of baggage pre-draft process. And I think now he's just trying to earn back, I guess I don't want to say credibility because I don't think that's it. But you know what I mean? I think that he lost a lot of good faith with NFL teams through the draft process, and whether they did him wrong or not is a completely different topic. But their opinion was, we're good. We'll go a different direction. So I'm with you. I listened to nothing but people talk about how talented he was, blah, 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 for 5 months. And then the night of the draft, I'll, just completely slide. So I don't think it's talent. I do think it's a little bit between the ears, whether it's caused by him or media or whoever. I think there's a lot of stuff that led up to that draft night. He ended up on a team. Go prove yourself now.
Yeah. And just to be clear, I'm not saying that I think he's not good. I'm just posing the question, what if he actually isn't? What if their evaluation of his skill set to the NFL was correct and he got drafted where he belonged to get drafted? That's a possibility. I mean, I know a lot of people don't want to talk about that or say that is an outcome that could happen, but it is. I do think that he is talented. And I've been saying this to people all week. It's great that we got these two quarterbacks, these two rookies in there to go compete because, I mean, if Shedeur's that good, he'll be on the field.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like whether he's good or he's not, we will see it on the field very soon. Yeah. And it will be known.
I think both the rookies are getting good playing time. I at least hope so.
Yeah.
I would hope that they both get starts. I would hope that they both get ample opportunity to seize that. But
the only way,
go ahead.
That's the only way that I could see them not both getting opportunities to start this season is if one, like during camp and preseason, just shine, just is like, this is the dude, or I guess it could be a combination. The other one is just like, no, this guy's not ready. We can't put him out there yet. That would be the only way I see it not happening.
Yeah. The wild thing is I've seen us run not ready quarterbacks out there a lot and continue to do it.
Yeah.
For multiple weeks. So, I will say we're asking for them to have the opportunity, but
I think if somebody gets pegged for like a start at 10:30 in the morning on a Sunday before we go play the Ravens at home, I do think that either Gabriel or Shedeur will play better than DTR.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
I sure hope so.
Can't get any worse.
2026, here we come.
Yeah, but
see what that Jacksonville pick's going to be all about.
Yeah, I agree with you though. I mean, like the stuff Shedeur says himself, it's all good stuff. Like he says the right things to the media. When he's in front of a camera, he says the right things. He goes and he does the right things. He's meeting with, he's going and talking to kids and stuff, and he's not asking for publicity. People are just posting the videos of him on social media. That's the only reason we know he's doing stuff.
I get frustrated with all that too, because same deal. It's like, you see, oh, hey, you went and talked to kids at a school. I'm like, that's cool, man. If I was a kid at that school, that would be a very cool experience. And all I read about is, oh, he's out there just trying to get attention for himself. Look at him. I'm like,
did you see, like, I forget what radio station it was. They asked if they could come cover him coming to talk to the kids, like they could, cover the event. And his camp said no.
Good.
No coverage.
That's good.
Yeah. So it was just their own, his own media team, social media team, and obviously people at the school. The people at the school, their Instagram accounts, the one that were posting the videos and stuff of him, not him,
because they're proud. It's Cloud9 moment. You have a dude that was a dude in college showing up at your high school. I don't know. If I was a kid in that high school, I would be very, very excited. Whether he realized, I think he realizes, but Shedeur Sanders carries a very, very heavy weight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. With
his dad, everything that, I always people hear privilege and stuff like that. And I'm like, you don't understand like the hardships that come out of growing up in a situation like that. Financially, I'm sure everything was great, but it comes with different weight, comes with different pressures in life. And like, I don't think it's fair just to be like, it's Deion's kid, you know.
I think he's handling everything pretty well so far. And
Absolutely.
I think that if anybody's going to, I mean, if the talent truly is there, then I think he will start. I think that he will rise through the ranks, and I think it'll be seen that way.
If he doesn't, and he is he's that talented, we're going to be in a great position.
Right.
We're going to be fine.
Exactly. And, you know, the pre-draft stuff, I have seen a lot of people say that he really could have benefited from having an agent. He didn't have an agent, somebody to help guide you through this process, somebody who's been there before, like kind of coach you on how to talk to these teams, how to answer questions. He was getting advice from his dad, and maybe the advice just wasn't good. Maybe the mentality he took into those meetings with these teams, like you either want me or you don't, like that's I mean, I understand the attitude. Like I know what I can do. Either you want me or I'm going to go somewhere where I can be. I get that, but maybe not the right way to present yourself through that pre-draft process. And that's where maybe just getting advice from him didn't help him in that regard.
No, I agree. Whether I think the agent thing is huge.
Oh yeah.
I think it's a completely glossed over part of it where, you know, even Shiloh was saying he's like, I'm hiring an agent. This is ridiculous. Like,
well, think about Lamar Jackson with his mom being the agent and how like his contract, that whole situation with the Ravens got all screwy there for a while. And it was like, you know, I understand that these agents, you know, it's kind of like the used car salesman kind of, there's a slime ball agent. You need them though. That's the thing. Like you actually need them to broker these deals for you. So we'll see. Hey, he's here now, and mini camp starts on Friday. It is this week. Rookie mini camp is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So just be paying attention. We'll be posting about it like crazy on social media, all the video clips, all the news and notes and rumors coming out. We'll let you guys know. We'll keep you updated.
You got to think that's going to be a lit event. Ooh. You got to think people are coming from all across the country to try to get eyes on that.
I would imagine.
Berea is going to be very popular this weekend.
For sure. And I guess before we wrap this thing up, I don't even know how long I've been going, but you know, we'll see. We got to talk about this. We said this is going to be our loosey-goosey. Let's get a little wild segment because this is wild. A freaking Colorado Buffalo fan in Georgia has filed a lawsuit, $100 million lawsuit against the NFL because of the Shedeur Sanders slide to the 5th round. What?
Well, all I said earlier when I answered this was, well, that's weird. I feel like me and these Cleveland professional sports team have some shit to settle up on them because they've been traumatizing me multiple times a year my whole life. My beard's white. It's rough, you know. I'm stressed out sometimes, but that is crazy. Now, I'm be very curious how this plays out. If he wins, oh, yikes. Oh,
if he wins, it'll be ridiculous because, first of all, he's claiming that he has suffered emotional stress and trauma because of where Shedeur was drafted, and he's not only seeking the financial, you know, repercussions from this. He wants like an apology from the NFL and like an admittance that they kind of blackballed Shedeur. He says that, he's accusing the NFL of violating the Sherman Antitrust Act because NFL owners conspired to influence the draft. And he's citing the Civil Rights Act because he says that the slide was due to racial discrimination. It's wild, man. Like I saw this and I was like, bullshit. Like I'm not even thinking about clicking on this or reposting this because it's a joke. And then I saw it again and then I saw it again. I said, all right, I'll go search some news sites. I'm like, holy shit, this is real.
I've got a lawyer up. Man.
Oh, Cleveland, you guys are screwed. I'm coming after you guys.
I'm not going to work tomorrow, bro. I've got receipts for days from Cleveland. So Colorado fan, I don't know what went through that weekend, but my goodness, I can tell you that the 95, 97 Indians made me cry, you know, as a kid. I can say that I've watched the Cavs get epically close multiple times and just not do enough to get over and then get one. 2016 shout out. But and then we're not even going to go into the Browns. We don't even have to like begin the laundry list of things that I don't even accept it as trauma anymore. I'm just like, oh, that's crazy. That's something that I never would predict that would ever happen in my life. And my favorite sports team does it.
Yep.
Yes.
I am so damaged. I mean, there's no level of counseling and therapy that can help you as a Browns fan after all these years. There's nothing.
No. I actually like tie it to things like people will be like, oh, that quarterback's old. And I'm like, oh, I remember when Brandon Whedon got stuck under the American flag or during it's just immediate like PTSD. Like, oh yeah, I got one for that old quarterback. Yeah. He got stuck under the flag. Couldn't get out. It's crazy.
Yeah. Remember we had a GM texting the head coach on the sideline from upstairs saying, hey, put Johnny Manziel in the game. And we ended up, what did we get fined or lose draft picks?
I thought we got fined, but it wouldn't shock me. I mean,
you can't do that. Like you're not allowed to do that. So they broke protocol, and it's like, that's my team. That's my team.
It was just a lot for a while. Like we'd get excited about things.
Yeah.
Like we'd be like, man, we drafted this really, really good explosive tight end. And then you would get on a motorcycle and crash it and tears the ACL. Like it was just like one thing after a friggin' other and we're still going. We're not done. We're just getting started actually. But
I'm just, the Greg Little years, the Muhammad Massaquas, the
Corey Coleman.
That
one was tough.
So the trauma is real. So if this lawsuit goes through and this sets a precedent, hey, we might be able to do like a class action or something against the Browns.
It'll be Justin Charles versus the Cleveland Browns when they played Baltimore on Monday Night Football and had their kick blocked. And I was there in person. I legit have never been so scared to be in Cleveland. I remember I was with Blake Reniker and I was like, we got to get the hell out of here, bro. This place is about to come down. People were just ripping their jerseys off, like just Hulk Hogan style. It was freaking epic.
Man,
other than the complete dog shit end of the game.
How about, what was it, 2022 when we lost to the Jets, when we were up by 2 scores with less than 2 minutes to go and we lost the game?
Yeah. Dude, I started walking out and I watched Corey Davis take one up the sideline on the escalator. And I was just like, oh, I remember looking at my wife and my mom being like, doesn't even fucking matter. We're up multiple scores. We're good. These teams don't like blow it like that. And we could hear people like freaking out inside the stadium as we were walking down. We were like, oh shit, they're going to do this. And then they did. Yep.
Yeah. About the most impossible way. What was it? The first team, I think it was like teams that were up by 2 scores with less than 2 minutes to go in the last however many games. They were 229-0.
Yeah.
And we were the one team to lose in that situation.
Yep. And I remember all we could talk about was, oh man, Nick Chubb should have just went down. And we were like, we're up multiple.
We're up 2 scores.
We're good.
2 touchdowns.
If you're up 2 touchdowns and you can't close 2 minutes out, shame on you, not us. Shame on you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You guys fucked up, not us. We were cheering for you. We started leaving. We thought it was over.
I would have made Joe Woods just walk to the bus stop. Like, dude, you're not even, don't even come into the locker room. But no, we kept him the rest of the year. And that defense was no fun, but
a lot of, what are we doing? Whose guy was that? Whose guy was that running up the sideline wide open? What's happening? Oh, not my guy.
Dude, it doesn't even sound real when you talk about it, but this is real. This is so real.
Yeah.
This is what
I would love to like write a secret memoir or something for Cleveland Browns fans and just drop it on them one day. Just be like the worst things that we've lived through. They probably have that book.
We should do that though. We should collect like memories and stuff from the audience and then just do like a whole episode. Actually, let's do that. Let's do a live show one time this summer when we have like our dead period, and let's just like the worst of the worst. You guys get in the live chat and you just start dropping, and we'll just go through as many as we can, like the worst of the worst of Browns history since they come back.
Remember when we finally got a really, really good wide receiver on our team, but that weed was banned. The one thing that nobody cares about anymore.
Yeah.
Our guy.
Dude could have been a Hall of Famer.
Stole his NFL career. Oh, it's crazy. Stole his career. Every time I see Gronk on TV rubbing friggin' hemp oil on himself, I'm like, this is bullshit. Where's Josh Gordon at? This is bullshit. But yeah. Well, we got off the rails a little bit.
That is our luck. All right. Well, you guys let us know in the comments what you think about all this stuff. We got a little wild there at the end, but that's a ton of fun. Again, be paying attention to social medias this weekend. It is rookie minicamp. It's going to be a lot of news and rumors and clips and stuff going on. So pay attention to that and make sure if you want to play fantasy football with us this upcoming season, get into the dog pack at jointhedogs.com. We're going to have sign up starting June 1st. So that way you're already in there, you're locked in, you're ready to go. It's just $5 a month. So it's a great way to support the show. It helps us out financially. And, you get access to, the fantasy football, like I said, the private Discord, all the contests that we run in there, just everything that we do in the dog pack, you get to be a part of. And we really appreciate all your support.
Absolutely.
So we'll wrap this thing up. We'll get on out of here, and we will see you guys later on. I don't know if we'll do another one this week or if it'll be like on Sunday. Probably wrapping up some rookie minicamp stuff maybe toward the end of the weekend, but we'll be with you guys. So stay tuned, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at the Dawgs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedawgspodcast.com.
This episode is brought to you by Danger Coffee. Browns fans, we talk about how Danger Coffee is made free from mold toxins that are in 45% of the world's coffee, but that's not all that Danger Coffee has to offer. Mineral and nutrient deficiencies are a big deal. They make you feel sick, tired, stressed, and they can give you brain fog. These deficiencies negatively affect your immune system, your digestion, sleep, metabolism. Have you ever wondered why you get an initial burst from your coffee, but then you get that little crash not long after? Danger Coffee's patent-pending process remineralizes your body with more than 50 trace minerals and electrolytes, leaving you more energized, engaged, powerful. These micronutrients enter the cells to boost performance. They bind to toxins to provide detoxification support. I know that sounds like a lot, but the bottom line, guys, is minerals matter, and most of us really don't get enough of them on a daily basis. Danger Coffee delivers micronutrients, plus it gives you access to the minerals you already have. Head to dangercoffee.com, use our code DAWGS, DAWGS, for 10% off your order, and that code can be used over and over, so you get 10% off every order you make using code DAWGS. It's time to start every day off with a cup of coffee that gets you going and actually keeps you going. dangercoffee.com, code DAWGS.